What is up, everyone? How are you doing? Sorry. Did I hear a kitty? Thought I heard a kitty. I did hear a kitty. Hey! How is everyone doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everyone's having a great day. Scorpion, how you doing, man? Boom. How is everyone doing? Welcome, my friends. Welcome. Welcome. It's kind of bad. Oh, man, what's going on, man? What, from the UK? Yo, Joe, how you doing, man? Welcome, everyone. We got a ton of stuff to break down. Hopefully everything sounds good. Sorry, I was messing with my mic a little bit, so hopefully it's good. Your hair looks gorgeous. Thank you. Washed it last night. First time in like a week. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I need to actually get I need to get a cut before my defense, so I'll probably get a cut either this weekend or next weekend. Not too much, a couple inches or so. Keep it shoulder length, but I need it. Need it to not look insane. Don't listen to the haters. Strand is lit. Look, man, I was kind of a Strand doubter, I'm not gonna lie. But after today, seeing the amount of interplay that Strand has, it seems like by far the most interconnected and dynamic subclass, which is incredibly impressive because all of the 3.0s have had an amazing gameplay flow. But it seems like Strand is going to be the gameplay flow subclass, which I am so excited about. This looks fucking phenomenal, by the way. I want this artist to draw my entire life. So, I'm a Hunter Strand stan. Yeah, me too. So this is the thing, right? I was gonna go into Lightfall as a warlock. You know, you guys know every time there's new content, I always go in as a warlock. But I'm gonna take the chance that Strand skating is going to be a thing, and I think I'm gonna go in on Hunter instead. I think so. We'll see. Dude, hell yeah, big boy. Yo, Sweeney, thank you for the super chat. Congrats on getting in math class. Hey, thank you. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I'm the newest member of Daddy Dado's clan. See? Friend invite from Mork. Look at that. That literally could not have been better timed. Yes, Mork, I'll be your friend. Oh my goodness. So there we go. So hell yeah. Very excited for the future of that. I just love meeting new gamers and people who are as serious about the game as I am. And obviously, nothing but love to everyone in Completionist, but people have been kind of leaving Completionist one by one. Coops left a while ago. Chemo joined math class a while ago. Eclipse left. And so I think we're obviously, I don't plan to really change who I play with. Like my Completionist boys are my boys, and it will stay that way, right? But I think it's good to at least in this case to start consolidating stuff. So there we go. A scientist in math class. I already made that joke, dude. I was like, I got lost on the way to chemistry class. But do you have all the flags? I don't fucking know. Probably. I mean, math class has been a fucking thing forever. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. But yeah. So I'm really excited. What's happening with Completionist? I don't really know. There's still like 6 people. That was the thing with Completionist, right? Like there's a time where we were growing a lot, and I really like it was a lot. We went to like 15 people, which for max triumph score is a lot. But when you find yourself playing with mostly people not in your clan because you can't get enough people in your clan on, then it starts to be like, well, you know, is this a failed experiment? That sort of thing. So still love those guys, still gonna, they are my completionist buddies, you know. We're still gonna grind triumph score and do all sorts of shit together. They're still my day one raid team, to be clear. Nothing's changing there. We have an incredibly good thing going on with my day one team right now, and I plan to keep it that way. So yeah, so there we go, man. Have you spoken with Dado? Yeah. So yeah, man. So that's how that goes, man. So there we go. Who's taking your spot for the raid? So yeah, I did a. Damn it! You guys need to follow me on Twitter. All these questions. So I made, every time we do a raid, you guys know this. Every single raid, every year, I make an announcement. I always make like a fun picture for the announcement. I still made an announcement, even though I won't be able to do the raid because of my dissertation. But I wanted to support my boys, and it's still my raid team going forward. So I felt really good, and I wanted to make an announcement still. And so I did. So it's Team Tormentors with legs. If you guys don't know, my raid team is always blank, something topical with legs. So like we were like... for Beyond Light, we were Team Vex with legs, and then Baytheon with legs, that sort of stuff. We do that every time. So this time we're Tormentors with legs, and Diggs is gonna take my spot here. And you can see we put me in here saying I'm late holding my dissertation. So, really good. And Hoon made this really great. This really awesome video, but it has Freebird in it, and I got copyright claimed last time I played it, so I don't want to get copyright claimed again. This is pretty funny though. I'll play. Oh geez, I'm gonna get copyright claimed again. Oh man, we'll play it without sound. Destiny music goes hard. But he made a compilation for our raid team, which is pretty good. So it's better with music, but it's pretty good. It has everyone. It's good. It's great. Hoon killed it with that. But yeah, so my day one team is not going to change. It's a coincidence that I can't do it this time, but they're still my team, and going forward they will still be my team. So yeah, man. Yeah, I guess Diggs was on Shrimp's team. Look, I had no part in this. I want it to be known. I did not suggest a replacement. I did not say anything. I did not approve a replacement. I was like, guys, I can't do it. And they took part, care of their ass, Shrimp. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, dude. So... Which check out on Twitter. I'm not installing it to follow you. If it makes you feel better, you don't have to install Twitter. It's a website. You can just go there. Even on mobile, you can just use the website. But I understand not everyone can. But if you ask me a question and I've already answered on Twitter, you can't get mad at me for being like, I've already answered that question on Twitter, right? That's kind of on you. I put that information out there, So there you go. Have you seen the trailer? We're going to watch the trailer. I have seen the trailer, but we're going to watch it as well. Are you drinking Prime? No, I'm drinking Advanced. Sorry, it's out of frame. Code SCARE9, 10% off. Exclamation point Advanced in chat. It's fucking amazing. This stuff's really good. One thing, they still don't... I told them they need to market this. So this is... They put their energy in cans, but they carbonate it. And they don't tell anyone that. And it's delicious. Carbonation makes everything better, except for sweet tea. It does not make sweet tea better, but it makes everything else better. Maybe... I've never had carbonated milk. Can't imagine it's too good. But other than those two things, carbonation makes everything better, and they need to market that. And it's carbonated. Get some. Code SCARE9, 10% off. It's fucking brilliant. Carbonated milk is to die for? What the fuck? You haven't tried Pilk before? No. Carbonated coffee? They do like, it's not carbonated, but they do like, you know, they'll pack coffee under nitrogen, and it gives it a similar type of thing because nitrogen is partially soluble in water. It obviously doesn't make carbonic acid. It's a little different, but yeah, man. Okay, so first off, Strand looks amazing. I was a Strand skeptic. I am no longer a Strand skeptic. I'm on board for Strand. I think Strand might be my favorite, depending on the movement capabilities, but it looks really fucking good. Okay. So let's read. So we have a bunch of stuff to break down. So we have the Bungie thing, and then we have some screenshots to look at that Bungie put out in the press kit, and then we have the press kit to read. So we'll do all three of those. Very excited. Took the Strand pill. Yeah, I've been Strand pilled for sure. I was like, man, Strand looks kind of lame up until like in all the trailers, because they hadn't really talked about it. But the amount of synergy that Strand has with itself is unreal, and I'm very excited for it. So yeah, man. All right, Guardians, prepare to unlock the mysteries of Strand. In Destiny 2 Lightfall, players gain access to a brand new elemental power to add to the current lineup of Arc, Void, Solar, and Stasis. I don't know why I switched those. Like its predecessors, Strand will offer players with exciting new abilities and powers to dominate the battlefield, along with new wrinkles that promise to change the way Guardians think about traversal and combat. With Strand, Guardians will be wielding the fabric of the universe in ways that will be a formidable threat to anyone who stands in their way. They should have said, missed opportunity to say anyone who strands in their way. That's all I'm saying. The Strand trailer for Lightfall shows all three Guardian classes using Strand to deadly effect. Here we go. Hopefully this isn't copyrighted either.
Strand flows through you. As it flows.
Hopefully that's not too loud.
Now is the time to lean into using Strand, not back away from it.
Sheesh, dude. That gives me serious Slither vibes. We'll break this all down as we usually do. Oh my gosh, and the music. Just goddamn, you know? New voice actor for Osiris? No. That's the same. He always lacks enthusiasm. I don't know if that's like directional or what. It all looks so good, man.
Where the current takes you.
I love how moist it sounds. It's like... Love it. Love it. Oh man, fucking phenomenal, Bungie. Super good. Super good. Are those war sets falling? Maybe. We'll take a look at it. Yeah, so the tangles, I think they're called, or the threadlings. The threadlings, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but I think it was the first movie James Gunn ever directed, I think, was called Slither. I think it was called Slither. Mid 2000s, maybe like 2006, somewhere in there, probably. Horror movie. It had a bunch of big actors in it. The big one would be Merle from The Walking Dead. What is his name? Fucking hell. What's his name? Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker's in it. And it's just a movie, it's a horror movie about like alien slugs, and the threadlings give me huge Slither vibes, dude. Yeah, he's Yondu as well. It had a lot of big name actors. Back then they weren't big name, but now they're big name. And that's where James Gunn got his start. So really cool. Yo, Dawson, what's up, dude? Have you heard the new Falling in Reverse song? Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like, It's insane. Is that the movie that has the lady full of worms? Yes. That's all I can think about when I see the threadlings. I'm like, oh my god, someone watched Slither, dude. Yeah. Elizabeth Banks, yeah, she was one of the mains.
Strand flows through you.
Looks so good, man. I'm kind of curious. So, when the strand effect on the screen, is there anything to that? Very interesting patterns here that they've picked.
As it flows through everything.
It's called Slither. The hunter has a new exotic potential in the grapple seed. No, I'll take a look for it. So this is, I am worried. The one thing I'm worried about is Titan. Okay, I definitely agree that it is. You know, Titans are getting a few too many melee classes. I definitely would have loved to see, if you guys didn't see, like one of the original concept arts for Titan Strand was a flamethrower, or I guess a strand flower thing, and I would have loved to see some variation with that. We don't have a lot of information on the Titan Super, but what I will say is it doesn't really seem that different. So I think it's gonna, I feel bad because I feel like Titans had like the least interesting stasis subclass too. At least, see, on launch it was broken, but how it is now, it's like, who the fuck uses Behemoth, you know? So I hope there's a little bit more, you know, or if we get additional aspects, they switch it up a little bit. Because Titans deserve some love, you know? They've got some great light supers, but their darkness supers are kind of lacking, dude.
Now is
Titans don't sound weak or anything, but it looks kind of like Frankenstein's monster of the other subclasses they already have. Yeah, exactly. It's just nothing, it's nothing really that different. And what I will say is with Strand, this is a very interesting thing for me because the supers aren't, usually the supers are like the interesting part of the subclass, of like the new subclasses, right? Like all of the supers in the game, all the subclasses in the game, people refer to them by their super name, because usually that's the main thing. But admittedly, with all three Strand subclasses, the supers are not the focus, right? Like the supers are definitely going to play into it. At least they're not the focus for me right now. It's all of the other gameplay mechanics, the aspects and the fragments and the grappling hook. All of the other things are what really stand out here. And I think it's much less about the super, which is really interesting. So maybe all of their supers will be kind of mid, but their like mid normal game will just be like fucking insane, you know? So, oh yeah, Osiris does have a ghost right there. What the fuck? Yeah, it probably will be ours, but the placement's really weird.
Now is the time to lean into using Strand. Not back away from it.
So this is really cool. This is the Warlock so this is the first time ever that we can have 3 melee charges. And you can see this is the Warlock here, has 3. We'll read about the abilities and break down everything later, but has 3 little darts it can throw. And I believe it makes things threadlings, I think. Very cool. Yeah, I think you can start to see the threadling form at the end of the... Okay, first off, the bullshit, amazing. Whoever animated that. And then right here, I think you can start to see the threadling form. Oh, maybe not? Yeah, right there. I think that's the threadling forming right there. And then they cut away. Like that, the extra green spicy thing. They unravel. Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right. You're right. So that's probably the unravel. But yeah, man, the thing about Strand, like, all of the animations are so clean. I love the liquidy, goopy sound effects where it's like, you know? Let me make the sound effects next time, Bungie. I fucking love that, dude. So that's the Warlock Super. We'll talk about the super later as well. It's to be fair, the Warlock super is very similar to just Nova Bomb. You know, it's wider spread Nova Bomb, and when things die, this is the cool part, and we'll talk about this once again. We'll break down everything. But when things die to this super, they become threadlinks that will hunt down other things and kill them. So it's essentially like Scattered Nova, where the big one. Cataclysm or whatever, where like Slova Bomb, where it'll pop and then it'll send things out and kill additional enemies. That's essentially what this is. But Nova Bomb plus Blade Barrage, exactly. So, and the Hunter one isn't really that unique either. It's kind of just Arc Staff plus a little bit of like a Titan shield thing, like a Sentinel. So none of the supers are really that unique, to be fair. And I really feel like a lot more of this is, just hearing about all the interplay and how heavily movement influences this and how much you can do with all the different verbs, this truly feels like a subclass that is going to be just too powerful for a good super. In my opinion, skill gap to Arc Staff. That's right, dog. That's right. So you can see them all turned into threadlings there. And look, if you look up a scene from Slither, this is how they move. That's exactly what they look like. Dude, you know what? Fuck it. The Slither worm moving scene. I don't want to show you guys like anything gory or anything, you know? But I'm telling you, like, that shit looks exactly. Oh, it's got Nathan Fillion in it. Is he gonna show the worms? Wormy boys? One second. I gotta find the. Girl blows up. Okay. Oh, I can't show any of this on stream. But they move like that. They move like that. When do you think we'll get the next Vidoc? Next week? Yeah, I think next week we'll probably get a Vidoc, and then the week after we'll get a launch trailer, I bet. I don't know why everyone's shitting on the Titans. The super fits the character so well. It does. I mean, it does. But how many melee-based subclasses can a single character have? You know, that's why I feel for them. Striker is a melee-based subclass. Sentinel, half melee-based, to be fair. Hammer Titan, not really melee. Big Hammer's kind of melee-based, I guess. Behemoth, completely melee-based. And then Berserker, completely melee-based, you know? It's like... So... Bungie probably designed these Strand subclasses to be much more passively useful rather than one-and-done supers and abilities. Seems to fit with the grenade thing being sacrificed for the grapple. I agree. Like I said, I think this is going to be... We already have subclasses in the game that are like... Their supers are kind of mid, but they have better grenades and like mid-play and stuff. I think that this is going to be the epitome of a subclass that's like 100% uptime, and you really don't need to worry about your super that much. Tyrant was a way cooler name. I imagine they switched Tyrant for two reasons. A, negative connotations, obviously, but B, probably more appropriately because Rasputin is already referred to as the Tyrant in the game, right? I mean, to be fair, like the Titan shit looks phenomenal, and it looks like it kind of looks like it has the mobility of Behemoth when Behemoth launched. Do you remember when Behemoth was the fastest super in the game? Like, you could clear maps. I think that's what Berserker is going to be. Like, seems to move very fast, which is cool. And there is definitely, it looks like this uppercut may have some, okay, first off, that's fucking awesome, but it looks like it might have a little bit of range here. You see that? Because he was like up above him, and he did some sort of range attack, so I think there will at least be a little bit of range on it. Titans still have an identity? I mean, their identity is they punch things. That is their identity, right? Yeah, the violent does slap. Hunters have an in-air dive attack, so I'm on copium for Strand skating. I hope so badly you can Strand skate, man. Very cool. Very cool. And also this, when the light falls, right? It's got the pyramid things. Notice how as we're getting closer and closer to the DLC, we're getting these darker and darker hints, right? I'm telling you guys, I think a lot of this marketing campaign is a complete misdirect. I think a lot of the bright colors and the neon and all that stuff, I think it's to completely distract us from the fact that we are about to get absolute fucked. Absolutely fucked. We are about to get absolutely fucked. Yes, that is the correct terminology. You see, it's just like the words they're picking, the kind of musical motifs. It's getting darker and darker as we approach the actual DLC. So around 54 seconds, potential hand cannon. Oh, that thing? I didn't even notice that. That's a good point. Nice little stingray looking boy there, eh? Yeah, interesting. I don't know. Ah, just unbelievable, man. Great animations, great noises. And I don't think these are war sats. Someone said that earlier. Maybe war sat. They look more rocky to me. This is bits of the Traveler. Traveler goes to Neomuna. Traveler gets fucked. No, I don't think that's it. I don't know what this is. Maybe Callus's ship can, like, so the Leviathan used to eat planets for fuel. Maybe when it gets transformed into the pyramid. Oh, Cabal drop pods. That's way better than the shit I had. Yeah, you're right. That's the new. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I don't know how 50 fucking people in chat got that and I didn't, but good job. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Look, oh man, this just looks so freaking phenomenal. That's probably, I think it's referred to as the, this is a grenade. A Tangle grenade, I think. Something like that. We'll get into it. I like how it looks like, I think, what are they called? Like bolos or something. But essentially, it traps people. Bola. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Dude, get a job. I literally have a job, Moonspell. It's being your mom's right-hand man. Or left-hand if she'd rather, but that's 10 extra bucks. That's all I'm saying. But very cool. And we did get some information about how this will work in PvP. We'll read it later, but when you're suspended in PvP, you can still move very slowly and you can fire back. So it doesn't completely incapacitate you. So we'll have to see how that works. Gotta make them monies, dude. Absolutely. Scared of discriminating left-hand motherfuckers? Dude, what can I say? That's the hand of the devil, bro, okay? No, lefties are cool, I think. I don't fucking know. I don't know if you guys are cool. I'm gonna make an assumption about your character based off of what hand you write with. What do I look like? Like what? No. Hip firing? Yeah, sure. Fighting back. They didn't say hip firing, I don't think. Very cool. Waste of a rocket. Like, look, these enemies can't fire back, bro. What are you doing? Ah, fair enough. Whatever. Threadling stuff looks very cool. And then the hunter melee. Oh, God, that looks so good, man. They said hip firing in an interview released today. Oh, that is not the vibe. I don't think that's what they said in this, but hip firing. Don't know if I like that. We'll see. Anyways, it looks very good. Everything looks phenomenal. Sounds incredible, and I am officially Strand pilled for sure. I want that hunter melee to be very good. There is a skill aspect to the hunter melee we'll talk about, but something I'm very excited about, something that Bungie has never done before that I'm very excited for. So Okay. Here we're taking a deeper look into what players can expect from Strand, including a class-by-class breakdown of how each Guardian's class will be plucking at the strings of the universe to play sweet, destructive music. From the neon-drenched streets of Neptune's secret city of Neomuna to Guardians soaring through the sky by grappling to an enemy spaceship. It's been clear from the start that Lightfall is different. Yes, things are coming to a head in the penultimate chapter of the Light and Darkness saga, but Lightfall's influences and inspirations prove that there's plenty of room for the team to let loose, to revel in their creativity and craft, and to have some fun. One of the touchstones the team drew from was the bombast and flair of the 1980s action cinema. This shit looks so good. It looks so good, man. I'm so excited. The color schemes, it's just like, you know, give it to me, put it in my tummy. Very excited about this, man. God, I want this to be so good. I want this to be so good. I think it will be, but what makes it a darkness subclass? Darkness things? Lore? I don't know. What do I look like? A darkness enthusiast, bro? What makes stasis a darkness subclass? What makes fire a light subclass? That's not how chemical reactions work. You know? Yo, Blanco, what's up, man? It looks like downloading the loading screen for the arrival mission on Mars for the Witch Queen. I think this will one of these two. Either this one, probably this one, but one of these will probably be like the legendary campaign splash screen. Like if you go in game, I'm actually in game right now. I can show you. If you go in game and you go down to the this sort of thing, so you have like this picture, which will probably be one of those two, and then if you put it on the harder difficulty. How the fuck do I do this? Put it on the motherfucker. Yes, there's a different loading screen, right? And so one of those will probably be the normal one. One of those might be the I mean, this just screams legendary art, though, you know. So fire literally produces a light. But does that make it a light subclass? I mean, what? Okay, what is void? Does void produce light? The concept is that in Destiny, solar is a form of light, right? So if light makes solar, or if solar is light and solar makes light, the fuck does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, this looks awesome. Fire because electrons jump to a higher energy level. Yeah, sure, but does that happen with void? What about electricity, you know, or arc? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Look, I don't make the rules. You guys are thinking about this too much. Think of an era of film where no explosion was too big and no action set piece was too over the top. The aesthetic informed much of Lightfall's tone, and it's certainly had a big influence on Strand itself, even before it was formerly known as Strand. The team had many concepts for Damage Type 5, as it was originally called in development, before aligning on the feature set and lore that brought it to life. We had a couple of front-runner concepts for a while, said Destiny designer Kevin Yanes. Hey, also, I'm really glad to see Kevin back in the spotlight. For a while there, he took a hiatus from doing like interviews and stuff. He's definitely one of my favorite, not to pick, if any other developers are watching, not to pick favorites, but Kevin is a GOAT. Okay, he's really cool. I was really sad to see him. He deleted or deactivated his Twitter for a while. He's been a little bit more active, which is awesome. He's very cool. So it's really great to see him taking part in these things again, and you all better treat him with nothing but respect. That's all I'm saying. Stasis is the opposite of solar because fire and ice. Strand is the opposite of arc because it's a different way of stringing stuff together. They've already gone on record saying that stasis is not ice. So There you go. Void is a manifestation of space, so it would be in tune with the light creation. What the fuck does that even? What? Darkness subclasses because we discover them in the darkest times. Yeah, I think that's it. Yes. Okay. We'll keep it going. Part of my desire was to have something more astral in the game. Strand also aligned really well with the fantasy of the product, the 80s action hero. As Yanez put it, there wasn't a single aha moment where all the threads of Strand fell neatly into place. Instead, it was a result of the continuous dialogue with the team about what would make for more exciting gameplay, what would make sense from a narrative standpoint, and how they could make those ideas manifest in game. Through these discussions, Damage Type 5 slowly morphed into something a bit more specific, then called Dark Telekinesis, which evolved further, eventually manifesting into what you see today. I am so happy that, look, maybe this isn't a common take, or maybe people aren't going to like this, but I'm very happy that for the green damage type, Bungie didn't take the easy way out and just go hive corruption, you know, or poison or anything. I feel like that was the fact that so many people were like, oh yeah, that's what that's gonna be, meant that it was too easy and it probably wasn't interesting enough. And I really love the idea. I love the idea that Bungie was like, no, we can do better. And they took it deeper and they made it more dynamic and they made something that is completely unique from, you know, the history of the Destiny universe. And that makes me a lot more excited about it. So, and there's still kind of, you know, parts of this, like you can see kind of like a big part of like the original hive corruption ideologies was like, hey, maybe we'll have some necromancy, and the threadlings are kind of like that. Like you kill enemies and then from them spawn little NPC things. And there is kind of the unravel, which we'll talk about here. One of the verbs is unravel, which it kind of acts like a sort of like a poison corruption thing. Very similar to like Scorch, almost like that sort of thing. And so I really like that they were like, no, let's go fucking weird with it and let's go unique with it. And I think that's really cool. So, yeah, man. Have you ever thought if the hive could use Strand? I would be surprised if eventually we don't see certain enemy types using Strand, but Bungie has made it very clear in the marketing material that we are the first beings in the entire Destiny universe to discover, or maybe not discover, but harness Strand. So like our Guardians discover it, no one else does. Osiris doesn't find out about it. We discover it, and we are able to use it in ways that are previously have been unattainable in the Destiny universe. I would not be surprised if Osiris ends up using Strand. You know, Osiris doesn't have the light anymore, and so it makes a lot of sense that similarly to how Eris has, especially in the lore, has become very she can use stasis very well. It would not surprise me if Osiris kind of gets that for Strand, right? And then for the third Dark Vanguard, if you will, I bet once we find out Resonance or whatever it is going to be in light or in Final Shape, our last Darkness subclass, I would not be surprised if the Drifter becomes very advanced at using that subclass, to kind of give them their own identities too. So, yeah, because I think originally the Exo Stranger was supposed to be a big part of the Dark Vanguard, but I feel like they've slowly started to put Osiris in her place. Maybe that's just my take, but I don't know. Very competent, thank you. Yeah, I was looking for that word. Yes. So there we go, man. Very cool. What happened to Deej? He just left Bungie. Decided to go somewhere else. Zavala learning to use darkness would be more interesting for Final Shape. I don't think Zavala would ever learn darkness. I think Zavala is the moral compass of the Destiny universe. And if you guys know anything, you know, about this sort of thing, if someone's going to die, it is either the comic relief or the moral compass. And we don't really have a comic, like a comic release right now, like our relief person. So if Bungie is looking for an impactful moment somewhere here, Zavala might not make it, you know? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Okay, we have lots of conversations about where the Strand concept known as weaves came from and trying to reinforce the physical language for how it manifests and how it looks to make it feel like it was from the same darkness family as stasis. So that's really cool. I love how they're still keeping these kind of fundamental universal forces. Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying that Strand is very clearly kind of string theory-ish, and stasis is the idea of like perfect zero, so 0 Kelvin. The idea that the complete absence of energy from a molecular system. And these are two kind of unattainable theoretical physical states that, you know, people have been, you know, kind of trying to hit. And so I think that's really interesting. The more the team talked, the more concepts in evocative language that describes Strand, with terms and descriptors like weaves, tangles, and the universal strings of consciousness came to be. It's everyone building on everyone's idea, said designer Eric Smith. How we choose to implement these things affect how we talk about it and vice versa. Like weaving objects instead of spawning objects or summoning objects. It becomes part of the aesthetic. That's fucking awesome. We can use Strand to give Zavala his hair back. That is an amazing comment. I love that. That's comment of the week right there. So. Yo, Fern, how you doing, man? So very cool. Deadly definitions. To understand Strand, let's start with some vocabulary. Creating an object using Strand is weaving. Defeating an enemy affected by Strand will unravel them, disconnecting their life force from the weave and creating a tangle. That's brutal. So I'm very interested in the lore of all of this. So like, for instance, when we kill a Vex, it's very likely, I think the Drifter has some voice lines about this, but it's very likely that the Vex can be, their fluid, Radiolaria fluid can just be recollected and they can just be like built back, right? And there are similar theories for a lot of the enemies. So what's really interesting is I wonder if, like, hypothetically, from a lore perspective, if we kill a Vex with Strand and they get unraveled from the weave, I think from a lore perspective, canonically, they're actually like fucking dead. It's kind of how I read this, which is crazy. And creating a tangle. Oh, so when you kill someone and they unravel, you create a tangle. So left behind after a Strand debuffed enemy is defeated, a tangle is a swirling band of Strand fibers. So that's what we saw above, and I'll go back up and I'll show you guys that in here in a second. These bundles of Strand explode when shot, causing area damage to nearby enemies. Guardians could also pick up tangles and throw them to deadly effect. So they're Warmind cells. This is almost certainly why they got rid of Warmind cells, because they were like, hey, Warmind cells, the subclass. I'm very excited to see that. But if we go up here, and I mentioned the Warlock melee thing here. Give it a second. So melee 1, melee 2, melee 3, it'll go to the Vex. And then you can see the Vex dies. So the Vex is being unraveled here. You can see it being unraveled, and then it leaves behind a tangle. So that's probably a tangle. And then you can shoot this to explode. You can grab it out of midair. You can grapple to it for free. It does not consume your grenade slot if you grapple to a tangle. Do all sorts of shit. So this is going to be kind of the basis for a lot of our mid, like normal play is going to be centered around tangles. And I'm sure there will be all sorts of mods and fragments that do crazy shit with them. So very, very cool. Guardians can also pick up tangles and throw them to deadly effect. On the debuff side, there are 3 new terms to know. You can suspend enemies, you can unravel enemies, and you can sever enemies. Suspend. A suspended enemy, PvE enemy, is lifted off the ground for a brief duration and is essentially disabled. We've seen this a ton in the gameplay. There are grenades that can do it. The Titan's barricade does it, where it sends out threadlings and then it suspends them. In PvP, suspended players are lifted off the ground but can still move, albeit slowly, and fire their weapon to fight back. And people have said, and I can't confirm this, but supposedly there's an interview out there. If you guys could find me that interview, that would be awesome. Let's read that on stream too. But supposedly, yeah, if you guys have seen any sort of interviews today, if you guys have seen any sort of comments from the Bungie team, if you could like DM those to me on Discord or at them, like at me on Twitter, anything like that, and we'll go over them on stream. That would be actually awesome. And we can do a full roundup of all of the news that we found out today. That would be fantastic. Both on the front page of Destiny the Game. Yes, okay, I'll go there. Thank you. Yeah, of course they'd be there. I don't know why I didn't think about that. But fantastic here. Very cool. Suspend sounds like it's going to be a pain in the ass, but it's going to launch in at least a better state than stasis, which is good. There we go. Unravel. Attacking an unraveled enemy will cause threads to burst out of the target and attack other nearby targets. That sounds insane. So this is essentially like their primed for detonation. What is that called? On Void? Like controlled demolition. What does that make enemies? Give me a sec. Volatile. Yeah, it's essentially like they're volatile. It's actually almost identical to volatile. So that's pretty cool. Green volatility. So this is really cool. Sever. A severed enemy is less capable of affecting the material world, reducing their damage output as a result. That's really cool. I don't think we've really seen any of that, but it seems very similar to like suppressed. So essentially this subclass is like frozen, volatile, and suppressed. Those are the debuffs, but they do it in their own unique way, that interplay, and I think that's gonna be very interesting. Yo, that one guy, man, how you doing? How we doing? I'm doing very well. Sounds more like a child of the old gods with tendrils type of thing. Yeah, sort of like that. That's a really good point. Yeah. When did you join math class? Last night? 2 nights ago? Couple nights ago. So this looks awesome. The major buff coming with Strand is Woven Mail. With this ability, the Guardian is sheathed in a protective mesh of strand of matter, reducing incoming damage. We've seen this in a couple clips now. In PvP, Woven Mail will only reduce damage taken to the body. Head damage and melee damage will continue as normal. That's awesome. I really love that sort of focused damage resistance. So we'll see how that plays out in PvE, though. So very cool. So very good. Found two subclass looking fire. Dude, I saw a lot of people saying that was like Baja Blast, the subclass. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I have a bad feeling in Strand about Strand and PvP, like worse than Stasis. The good news is I don't think it's possible for it to be like better than Stasis was. So very excited for this. Okay, Thwip. One of the most exciting new abilities in the Guardian's Strand toolbox or toolkit is the Grapple. With this ability, players can press the grenade button and their Guardian will weave a hook from strand matter, which they can grab onto an anchor point. The grappling hook will then begin contracting, pulling the Guardian along. Strand's grapple will create its own grapple points out of thin air, so you can always propel yourself through the sky even when there's not a solid surface to latch onto. Guardians will also be able to execute melee strikes during or at the end of a grapple, known as a grapple melee, which will deal bonus damage, unravel an enemy, and push them backwards. So what's really like insane about this is it's hard to like, this is a completely free new ability, and this is the first example that I can think of a subclass having like just an intrinsic, everyone gets this, and it looks like it's just kind of stupid powerful. Just an additional functionality onto a subclass that is insane. I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited for this. Oh, no, Amplified. Amplified's a perfect example. Yeah, you're right. This is like the Amplified of Strand. Yeah, you're right. But it'll add a lot of, as Ghost Guy says, like fluidity, but a lot of things with Strand make it seem like it's just like combo movement and attacks. The interplay between all of your abilities and all of your actions really seem to just flow super well. Really playing into that kind of, the weave is the flow of the universe, makes up everything. And I think they've at least in premise, from what we've seen and what we've read, it seems like the gameplay is really going to feel like that. And I'm very excited for that. I'm just so excited for this. Being able to do more than one action at a time. Exactly. And not only being able to combo together different actions, but they, when you're doing that, all these actions buff each other and add different functionalities to each other. Very cool. When we were developing the concept around ropes and string, we felt like it's the perfect opportunity to add grapple into the game, said Smith. You never want to shoehorn something in for the sake of interaction that isn't natural. It has to be the right time and the right situation. And the stars aligned for something like that here. Yane said Strand really came to life for him when the team started seeing the power of the grapple when combined with other elements of Strand. When we got things like Tangles online, we started realizing that the gameplay here is incredibly novel, interesting, and new when you have to do all these quick context switches between grappling and slamming and throwing a tangle. All of these things can happen in quick succession, and that rewards the players for having high APM, actions per minute, which is not really a thing we've had in the game at all before. Just a tip for everyone as well. Usually when you're writing and you bring up an acronym, or that's an initialism, not an acronym, but when you bring up that, you typically want to say what it stands for first and then in parentheses. So you would actually say having high actions per minute, parentheses APM. But it's okay, because here they're quoting and defining, so that's fine. But just want any of my science writers out there, I want to give you guys a little tip. Hey, Kadi. What are you sniffing over there? What are you doing? Come here. Chat wants to see you. Oh, I think we caught a live one. Oh, come on, you're right. You're literally right off screen. Tail in front of the camera. Oh, yes, kitty tail. We got a kitty tail. But this is very exciting. Hey, kitty. Okay. I was thinking about straining the shower once. If you get killed by it, you completely cease to exist. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, what do you do? Hey, you want to... No, that's my advanced. She tried to drink my AdvancedGG. Exclamation point advanced on chat. Code SCARO9, 10% off. Did you use code SCARO9 for 10% off, kitty? She's just sitting there. Oh, you guys can see her tail again. Hell yeah. Oh, what a lard. Okay. Smith picks up that thought and runs with it. I defeat an enemy with my melee ability and they unwind into a tangle. We saw that in the trailer. I grapple onto the tangle, which refunds my grapple, and then I snatch the tangle out of midair because we know we can grab the tangles like Warmind cells. And then I throw tangle at a group of enemies in the distance, but while I throw it, I grapple onto the tangle again, refunding again. And it pulls me in the air behind it. So you kill an enemy, you grapple over to a tangle, you grab it, you throw it, you grapple onto it again, and that pulls you over to enemies. And then, as the tangle nears the group of enemies, he slams downward out of his grapple to suspend a lone enemy who's split off from the group, while the tangle slams into the rest of the group and explodes. There's a lot of these really cool dynamic interactions built into Strand, and that makes it feel unique. Holy fuck. You know? Oh my goodness. This is going to be insane. All of this. And this is what I'm talking about. And so Steamboat Roller just said Titan's a big miss for me. Guess we super soft. I once again just want to reiterate that, yeah, I would have liked for the Titan super to be a little bit more unique. But it doesn't seem like any of the supers are really that unique. And I really think that's because the main power of these subclasses has nothing to do with the supers. And it's all about the interplay. So most subclasses are like, here, survive until you get your super, right? This is going to be a super is kind of a distraction or a break from the main pull of the subclass, which is going to be the flow of all of your abilities outside of your super, right? And that's kind of like, if you think about all the best builds in Destiny, all of the best builds have that as well, right? Like if you think about like Charge with Light or your Well of Light builds or Warmind Cell builds, right? That was all of those. As soon as you have a competent build with those, your build becomes a lot less like super centric, and your super is just an add-on. But if you're just playing like, if you just go play vanilla Destiny 1, right? If you go play Destiny 1 right now, the game is wait and kill things until you get your super, and that is the pinnacle of your gameplay, is the super. But in Destiny 2, all of the best builds get around that, where the super is no longer the pinnacle of your play. And I feel like that's exactly what they're doing with Strand for all subclasses, and most of your gameplay is going to be phenomenal outside of your super, and so you don't have to crutch on that, which is really cool. I think that's really cool. Yo, Dark Matter, what's up? How you doing? So I think that's very, very cool. Focusing on the neutral game, exactly. And I feel like Strand is going to have some of the most dynamic, interesting, and powerful neutral game that we have seen, at least in a PvE standpoint. It seems like a lot of this really, really focuses on just having like a shit ton of enemies to kill. I'm not sure how well that's going to work in PvP, although the movement is going to be busted in PvP. But I'm pretty excited about this. From the start, these new mobility options will change the way you play, but it doesn't end there. Each Guardian class will interact with and wield Strand in a unique way with new abilities and powerful perks to explore and customize. Here's how that breaks down. I really hope the raid integrates some grappling for jumping puzzles. I doubt it though. I bet you will be able to use Strand for jumping puzzles, but they will never require you to use Strand, and I don't really think they'll give you much direct benefit for using Strand, if that makes sense. The supers will chain in neutral game really well, yes, but I just think it's really important that, like, I think the main focus of these subclasses is not the supers, which is a huge change from where we've been. For most of the game's life cycle, your super has been the epitome of your ability sandbox. And with this subclass, or these subclasses, just doesn't seem like that's the case. Okay. Warlock Broodweaver. Warlock, excuse me, I just popped. I don't know what just popped in my mouth, but something popped. I don't even know if you guys heard that. The Warlock is our Strand minion master. This is awesome. Said Smith when explaining how Destiny 2's master of all things space magical will utilize Strand. To understand how Warlocks will bend Strand to their will, you first have to understand Threadlings. So this picture is amazing, by the way. Threadlings are explosive minions woven from Strand matter. The Warlock Broodweaver, being the cerebral type, is more in tune with Threadlings than all of the other subclasses. All Threadlings will run forward, jump on enemies, and explode. But only the Warlock's Threadlings will return to the Warlock and travel with him if they can't find a target. Let's say I have 3 Threadlings, and I only need 2 of them to defeat an enemy. If I'm a Warlock, that last one's going to run back, hop onto me, and condense down into a form that is orbiting me, also known as perching. I really, really want to see a Warlock with a Child of the Old God, a Arc Soul, do they have anything else that orbits them? And one of these orbiting them. And if there's a 4th thing, that too. Like, I just want to have as many insane things orbiting the Warlock as possible. So, very excited for that. Where'd you go to see this info? This is on Bungie.net. Oh, and no time to explain. Oh my gosh, just having 4 things? Oh my goodness. Collecting them like Infinity Stones, that's right. That's right. So, very cool. Stasis Orb on the new glaive. Does that do that? I don't think that does that. Yo, welcome back. So, very cool. Bleak Watcher? Does Bleak Watcher do that? I don't remember. There's too many fucking things. There's too many things. Yeah. So, I already read all this. Or did I read this? Let's say I have 3 Threadlings, and I only need 2 of them to defeat an enemy. If I'm a Warlock, that last one's going to run back, hop onto me, and condense down into a form that's orbiting me. I did know that. Or I did read that, which is known as perching. Then the next time I attack an enemy, it will pop off of me and attack that enemy, which gives it the sense of having these minions that are doing my bidding. They love me and they want to come back and hang out with me. That's awesome. But it's not just summoning and wielding Threadlings that Warlocks excel in. With their Strand melee attack, Warlocks cast Arcane Needle, a deadly projectile which tracks targets, causing high damage, and unraveling them upon impact. And that's what we saw in the trailer, where he's like, boom, 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 where you can have 3 melee charges. Warlocks will be able to quickly chain 3 Arcane Needle attacks in a row. Yes. Yeah, here, I can send you the link. Oh, what the? Here you go. Very excited for this. This looks awesome. Okay. Warlocks have 2 Strand aspects to utilize when there are Threadling in here, and it's here where Threadlings once again enter play. So Weaver's Call, we saw this in the trailer as well. On Riftcast, the Warlock weaves 3 Threadling eggs, which hatch into Threadlings when they hit a surface. Any perched Threadlings are converted to additional eggs. Very cool. Mind Spun Invocation. This aspect improves several of the Warlock's abilities, and so this is like your classic grenade one. So if you have Grapple on, when you execute a Grapple melee, the Warlock weaves 3 Threadling eggs from the target, meaning you get 3 additional Threadlings, which is insane. Threadling Grenade, you can consume your Threadling Grenade to generate a complement of perched Threadlings. Don't know what that means or how many that is. And then Shackle Grenade, you can consume your so Shackle Grenade was the bola thing. If you consume your Shackle Grenade to gain a buff, you create a suspending detonation on every kill. So holy. Very cool. The Warlock's telekinetic abilities culminate with their super Needle Storm, a deadly combination of burst damage and area denial. On cast, the Warlock will conjure Strand Matter into a fusillade of hardened spikes, launching them forwards with the wave of their hands. We saw that in the trailer. And the missiles will stick in enemies and the environment alike before detonating and reweaving themselves into an army of Threadlings that will hunt down any survivors. So once again, I'm comparing this very much to Slova Bomb, where you have a big bomb, boom, and then it's a lot of smaller Axion darts. Seems like that's going to be like this, but green, and a little bit more like Blade Barrage, spread out. You can go at many targets at once, maybe isolate or lock down like a larger area. Looks very good. What's Ebola? Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but this thing, they show it towards the end here.
The current.
Oh, it was this guy here. That's Ebola. Oh no! Oh, I thought I clicked on that video. It's this thing. You see him in like TV shows and stuff with like assassins or ninjas or whatever. They're supposed to wrap around people's legs and cause them to fall. Ebola these nuts. Are you serious, dude? I'll fucking ban you, okay? How about ban these nuts? So very cool. So all of these look insane. Warlock looks very good, and in fact, all of them look very good. Hunter Threadrunner. Well, every Strand Guardian class will have access to the grapple and an array of mobility options it brings. The Hunter takes movement and speed to an entirely new level. From attacking multiple enemies at once while in midair to using a new rope dart weapon that benefits from maximum agility. It's no wonder that playing the Threadrunner has been compared to the thrill of watching a superhero come to life. Excuse me, this is awesome. The Threadrunner's melee attack, Threaded Spike, and this has me so unbelievably excited, has a Hunter hurl out a rope dart that will bounce between enemies, damage and sever all of them. And remember, sever is like essentially suppression, so they'll do less damage. So I'm very interested to see what that looks like. And then the rope dart will return back to the Hunter. Upon its return, it grants melee damage for each enemy hit. So it's essentially like a better throwing Sentinel shield. Hunters can catch the rope dart by pressing the melee input button at the right time. Perfecting that timing will earn the player an additional amount of melee energy. That's amazing. So, grapple is your grenade. So this is essentially, this is the first thing like this that I can ever think of in Destiny where there's an additional kind of skill component to it where, you know, if you can really perfect that timing, you're going to be rewarded very well for it, which is awesome. Very exciting, or very excited for that. 2 strand aspects will be available for the hunters. Ensnaring slam while in the air. Press the air move input to slam downwards, suspending all nearby enemies. Please be like Shatter Dive and allow us to strand skate. Please, I want to be able to do the sword launch with this. That would be amazing. Please. And then Widow Silk, this aspect grants an additional grenade charge, so you have 2 grappling hooks on hunters. The hunter's grapple ability creates a persistent grapple tangle when it latches, which fully refunds grenade energy when grappled too. Hunters can use this ability to set up chains of grapple points that their entire team can use, greatly enhancing their ability to quickly move around combat and or traverse the environment. So the question I have here is, can you, if I grapple and I'm in the air, if I grapple and I jump off of the grapple, I let it go, can I then grapple again? Because with this aspect, that means that not only will hunters be able to go forever, because every time you create a persistent grapple, so maybe not for hunters, because your grapple ability creates a persistent grapple. Look, my point is the way they can balance this, I guess, is if you use your grenade to create a grapple, maybe that hunter's grenade does not get refunded, is the only thing I can think of. So like you go boom, boom, you create 2, but you don't get any of your grenades back, so you have to wait, but your teammates can use those endlessly. There's a 5-second delay. Oh, okay. Via PC Gamer article. We're gonna read that. So good to know. But still, looks like it seems like you're gonna be able to be quite cheesy with this, which I'm very excited about. Very excited. The lethal combination of grapple and rope dart converge with the Threadrunner's super Silk Strike, which is an awesome name, Silk Strike. When activated, the hunter uses their grapple to freely move around the world in a third-person view. Oh, I completely missed that. Wait, does that mean I have infinite grapples in that super? Wait, no? Yes? That kind of sounds like that, but, you know, maybe we'll get more info. Hunters are already the best, so switch your main, honestly. Well, also while throwing the rope dart to strike down enemies. Hunters will be able to use the grapple more often during the super, there you go, and the rope dart features both a light and a heavy attack. The light attack is meant for single opponents and can be used in the air and on the ground. When on the ground, the hunter can chain attack seamlessly, so kind of like Arcstrider. Hitting an enemy with the tip of the dart deals bonus damage, and defeating an enemy with it causes that enemy to explode. The heavy attack has the hunter swing the rope dart around in a 360-degree arc, we've seen that, damaging all nearby enemies. As with the light attack, it can be used on the ground or in the air. This is gonna be fucking insane. I'm so excited for Hunter. I think Hunter is gonna be, look, the one thing that this depends on, if you can use Ensnaring Slam to do the same thing as Well or Shatter Skate, if you can do a Strand Skate, I will be a Hunter Strand main 100%. There's not a single doubt in my entire mind. That's all I'm saying, okay? If that is allowed, you will never see me play, or Thread Skate, sure, we'll call it Thread Skate, whatever you want to call it. I kind of like Strand Skate better. I think that flows a little better, but whatever you want to call it, if you can do that, I will never, ever play another character ever again. I'll never play another subclass ever again. I will be a Strand Skating Hunter main, and that will never change. Silk Skate, I really like that. That's all I'm saying. That is literally all I'm saying, okay? It's called Grapple. No, I'm not talking about Grapple. I'm talking about, you know, how you can go on Hunter and I can do the shatter. Give me a sec. Just in case people maybe don't know what this is, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Oh, I don't have stompies on this guy. So if I can do this. No. We're gonna read it. We're not done. We're not done. I'm giving you guys an example. We're gonna read the Titans too. Give me a sec. Give me a second. 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 We are going to cover. We have so much left to cover, guys. But if I can do this on Strand. Oh shit! I fucked up. Give me a sec. Oh yeah. 1 second. Give me a sec. Give me 1 second. Calm the fuck down, okay? If I can do this on. If I can do this on Strand, it's over. I'm never playing another subclass in my entire life, dog. See that shit? I just launched halfway across Nessus. If I can do that on Strand, it's done. Okay? It's over. So there you go. Very excited for that. So please, Bungie, please let me Strandscape. Please let me Strandscape. Okay, Titans. Titan Berserker. The hulking mass of a Guardian stands before a squad of enemies, ignoring their paltry taunts. Without warning, gigantic blades made of tightly woven strand matter surrounds her hands, and she leaps into the fray, powerful blades whirring in fury. The Titan's powerful woven gauntlets slice through scores of their foes, her foes, and the enemies of humanity tremble. So what I will say is, while, you know, it's another Titan super, out of the 3 supers, I think this one looks like visually the coolest. You know what I'm saying? I think I think those spikes, mostly because it just looks like a necromorph, and I am a necromorph nerd neck, okay? I love necromorphs. I think this looks so cool. Like visually, once again, I think the knife side of the hand look awesome. Or prototype, yeah, it's exactly like prototype, that's right. But once again, all of these subclasses, or all 3 of the supers, I can't reiterate this enough. None of the supers look that novel. They're all different variations of what have been done before. Because most of the focus appears to be on the neutral game and the flow of like what you are doing when you are not using your super in a way that has never been done before. So I can't stress enough, do not judge the Titan yet, because we know very little about its neutral game, and I think it'll be quite good. From the start, the fantasy of Strand-wielding Titan Berserker was wild, untamed power. As the subclass's name suggests, the Titan uses Strand in a way that ensures maximum carnage with in-your-face attacks that can sever enemies en masse before they're permanently deleted. The Titan's Strand melee ability is called Frenzied Blade. With the press of the melee button, the Titan dashes forward and slashes enemies with their Strand arm blades, severing victims and decreasing their damage output. So it's essentially shoulder charge that suppresses, which I guess you guys already have. So, but green. With a default set of 3 charges, I didn't see that. Dude, the fucking Titan also gets 3 melees. What? Titans can chain these slashes together for maximum offensive power. Okay, so you got 3 shoulder charges, and that's gonna be, god damn it, I bet in PvP you're gonna be able to like go and like just kill someone, and that is gonna be the most annoying shit on the planet. I guarantee that's gonna be able to happen, dude. You guys are gonna, I know this is gonna happen. Shit, I didn't even read this before. Now I'm angry because this shit is going, if you have 3 melee charges, I guarantee it'll be 2 to kill someone in Crucible, and so you run up and you'll and then like launch out a 3rd guy and get them too. This shit's gonna be so annoying, man. I wonder if you sever an enemy in Crucible if they also do less damage. I bet they do. God. That's actually annoying. This pisses me off more than if you are tangled. Or suspended, or whatever the fuck it's called. What is it called? Yeah, suspended. Oh god. I'm not looking forward to this. Okay. The Titans will also be able to utilize a pair of aspects into the fray. Destroying a tangle weaves woven mail onto the Titan and nearby enemies. In addition to reduced damage taken, the aspect also increases the Titan's melee energy regeneration. Well, oh, Jesus. And if you remember, the new exotic gives you woven mail when you place a shield. And so it's essentially like a kind of a version of Hoyle, I guess, where but once you use one ability, you'll buff your other one. So that's kind of cool. Suspended PvP will be an absolute nuisance. Dude, I'm telling you, if Sever weakens you, it'll be worse. I'm telling you right now. When the Titan casts their ability, the Titan will blast forward in a powerful ripple in reality, suspending enemies that are caught in the shockwave's path. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so that's what we've seen that. Oh, God. I'm telling you guys, look, Titans might not be as interesting in PvE, but they are about to be by far the most annoying in PvP. You guys are, you're counting Titans out. Both of these are literally made to be as annoying to human opponents as possible. Oh, man. PC Gamer article confirms more aspects and fragments in the future. We'll read that. We'll read that. The Titan's Berserker Super, Blade Fury, that's a cool name, sees the Titan dual-wielding fist blades and roaming the battlefield with ill intent. The Super's light attack is a supercharged version of the Frenzied Blade melee attack, and each light attack that connects increases the next attack speed, which tops out after a maximum of 3 hits. In addition, connecting the light attacks also builds energy for the Super's heavy attack with each hit. With the heavy attack, the Titan hurls a pair of projectiles forward that seeks out enemies, suspending and damaging them on impact. So there is definitely, as you can see, a range aspect. I think this is going to be a lot more annoying than people realize. I'm telling you right now, guys. Is it confirmed that suspend works on Guardians? Yes, you are suspended. You can still move, but more slowly. So you can probably get out of it, but you have to move slowly. And you can only hip fire while you're in it. I imagine it'll probably be very similar to a dusk field grenade, but you'll be up in the sky. So that'll be fun. Elsewhere, Strand will see 3 new grenades, including Grapple, which is controlled with a grenade button. The Threadling grenade splits into 3 projectiles that weave into Threadlings upon impact, and the Shackle grenade effectively acts as a bola, detonating in a suspending blast and sending out smaller secondary bolas to suspend nearby enemies. Man. Have you been noticing how much Lightfall is a direct continuation of Witch Queen in a way unlike other expansions? It's so cool. Not just the side cut stuff, but also Savvy, the reason we go to Neomuna. Yeah, they've been doing a really good job since Shadowkeep, really, of threading together these narratives. I think that's very intentional. And I love how, and not only are they doing that, but the seasons used to seem kind of like filler episodes between expansions. There was obviously, like, you know, some reasons for things to matter, but like in the grand scheme of things, like Worthy, or the Rasputin one, not the Kaido one. I always get Chosen and Worthy mixed up. I think it was Worthy, the Rasputin one with the Almighty. Why the fuck did that matter? Nothing happened, you know, like that sort of thing is like, you know. But now it seems like every season has a very impactful, at least resolution. And all the expansions are playing into each other very well. So are they nerfing well or no? No, they're not. Kevin Yones confirmed they are not. So yeah. Very cool. Finally, it wouldn't be a new elemental power in Destiny 2 without new fragments to explore and customize your Strand-wielding Guardian. Here's a look at a few of the new fragments. Thread of Ascent. Activating your grenade ability reloads your equipped weapons. Oh, and grants increased weapon handling and airborne effectiveness. Oh my god, dude. So you use that with your grenade ability, which is, oh my god. You're gonna use this with grapple. And you're gonna be fucking unstoppable. This is gonna be insane. People, I've seen people very hyped about Strand. I just don't think people understand how insane it is going to be. Okay, Thread of Fury. Damaging targets with the Tangle grants melee energy. Cool. That's going to be good for the Warlock. Thread of Finality, finishers generate threadlings, and Thread of Warding, pick up an orbit power grants woven mail. From enemy-seeking threadling minions to bombastic supers to game-changing new mobility options, Strand is bringing a host of unique abilities to every Guardian's arsenal. Prepare to conjure and weave for yourself in Destiny 2 Lightfall when it launches on February 28th. Oh my goodness. Yo, Dropforge, what's up, man? Just came in, what'd you miss? Pretty much the entire breakdown is Strand. Long story short, I used to think Strand was going to be lame. I'm officially Strand pilled, and I think Strand is going to be the most interesting dynamic super or set of subclasses, at least in PvE, and it's probably going to be pretty annoying in PvP too. So, man, Strand is, yeah. So when you start to learn all of these things with like how much you're going to be able to use grappling and how people are going to be suspended with grenades and how, you know, just all sorts of bullshit here. Aerial effectiveness starts to make a lot more sense. You know what I'm saying? Very interesting. So we got a press kit with a bunch of new pictures. Here, I think the bigger ones are down here. So here. Yeah, that's a little bigger. Can I make this a little? So here we have things grappling. We have here you have a warlock with why is it doing that? Just open it in a new fucking, what are you doing? Can you guys see that all right? Is that big enough or should I make it bigger? I can download them all and make them bigger, I guess. It's good. If it's good, then I'll just do this as to not delay time. But essentially you can see these little things around the warlock. This is probably the perched threadlings, which is really cool. Very good. Knowing about tangles makes me excited for fire sprites and void breaches. They could be so much more unique than just collectible for energy. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised that now that like our subclasses are revamped, and I thought the mods were going to be a year-long thing, but they're like, nope, that's a one season completely revamped thing. I would not be surprised if we start to get, you know, a little bit more aspects and things for subclasses over the year. So we'll see. Yo, Gold, what's up? Knowing about Tangle makes me excited. Oh yeah, I already read that. Sorry. I hope Lightfall and Final Shape also have 8 high-class missions. So you have this continuous trifecta of 24 great missions. I would be surprised if they didn't, personally. Here you have, oh my god, dude, that looks so good, man. Look, like I said, the Titan, I think it's going to be a sleeper hit, especially with how fast it looked to be in the trailer and stuff. But without a doubt, it is in my opinion, why is this taking so long to load? It is the coolest looking of the new supers visually. I just think it looks so goddamn cool, man. Very cool. I love, man, everything about Strand makes me so happy, man. I like that they all have green eyes while the super is active. Yes, that does look awesome. It's like it's kind of like Deep Sight. I think you had that effect with Deep Sight too. Make us whole. Exactly, dude. Here you are communing with some sort of Strand thing. Very cool. Like, come the fuck on, man. Who's gonna sit here and tell me this isn't the coolest looking thing ever, you know? Bungie, when they surprised nerf eager skating. We'll read an interview later, which actually suggests that is not going to be a thing. Here's the melee, the shoulder charge thing, and you can see a grapple point here in the Vex. I'm still convinced this Vex thing, I still think it's going to be a strike. Strand equals the force. It flows through everything. Parallels. That's right. Threadlings are just like midichlorians or whatever, right? Oh, man. Everyone kneel to the paracausal capybara army, dude. True. Man, something I'm really impressed with is how they make the super FX wrap around every model of the armor. Oh, that's like a really good point. How many strikes do you think we'll get? We got 2 with Witch Queen, and we got 1 with Beyond Light. That can't be right. Did we literally only get Glassway with Beyond Light? I hope to. Shadow Keep, we got Scarlet Keep. Oh, Proving Grounds was with Beyond Light. That's a really good point. That was, you know, 2 seasons later, but Proving Grounds and Chosen. Oh, we got Navoda, and yeah, they technically revamped 2 with the Shadow Keep as well. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I hope we get 2. I hope we get 2 new ones. But we'll see. And they did say that they're revamping a couple of the old strikes. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. God damn, man. This looks really great as well. They, like, ugh, Bungie's team does not miss, dude. That's all I'm saying. Like, it, like, you know? Is this pre-recorded? Yes. You know, like, just come on. Just come on. God, like, oh my God, dude. These are in-game photos that look like they were fucking painted. You know what I'm saying? This is all I'm, like, what is happening? These guys are, they're playing on SLI 4090s to get this shit, dude. Any tips for returning Guardians? I'm trying to get ready for Lifewall. Want to ask around for tips. My number one tip, you don't, look, if you're just returning, you don't need to prep that much for Lifewall. I would recommend enjoying the content that came out this year. There was some genuinely very good content that came out this year. Season of the Seraph, Season of the Risen are bangers. And while Season of the Haunted and Season of Plunder weren't received quite as well, there are parts of those seasons that I believe are phenomenal. I think Catch Crash is amazing, and I really like what Bungie tried to do with the Leviathan Patrol Zone. And so what I would recommend is just fully playing and experiencing the content that came out this year, because unfortunately it's gonna get sunset, right? So I would say, you know, you have 3 weeks. That's plenty of time to get through all the campaigns and really just get some of the weapons and just experience those seasons. Because they're just phenomenal. So story, yeah, and the story was great the entire year. There was definitely some slow points. Haunted, I think, dragged on a little bit, but there were just phenomenal story beats all throughout the year. And while there were parts of the seasons that didn't really hit, I think the biggest things that didn't hit this year, I made a top best things this year. Maybe I'll make a worst things this year, or maybe just like an entire retrospective of this year. That would be kind of cool. I think things that didn't hit mostly didn't hit because we were forced to replay them so many times. And if you're coming in this late in the year, you're not gonna have to worry about that. So like Nightmare, Containment, and Expeditions are just not very fun activities, and you were forced to do them a lot, which you're not anymore, right? So whatever. And then the community event in Plunder was just lame, but like that's done, so you don't have to worry about that. And so I feel like especially what you can experience in the next 3 weeks is just like solid content that I really wish was not being sunset, but it is. So make sure you enjoy it. Wait, Scare, I thought content vaulting was gone. Expansion content vaulting is gone. So like anything with Shadowkeep, like the Moon, anything that came with Forsaken, Dreaming City, and all of that stuff, it will never be taken away. Europa is here to stay. Deepstone is here to stay. All of that stuff. Expansion stuff is being sunset. So I'm gonna do an exotic ranking video for this year. Yeah, I plan to do an exotic ranking all of the exotics that came out this year, for sure. So Tangle Shore is gone, my home. Brother, oh my God, dude, this looks phenomenal. They didn't specify that? Yeah, no, they legitimately specified that. They 100% said everything with expansions is gone, sunsets are seasons are still being sunset. They like said that almost word for word what I just said. For sure. This is great. This is fucking phenomenal. Strand doesn't feel or look like a darkness subclass. Why do you say that? I disagree. I think darkness. So I think you're thinking about darkness in much more of like our enemies' attacks, but you have to remember the Hive don't wield the darkness for the most part. They just work for the dark. They work for the Witness, who is an entity that wields the darkness, right? Just similarly to how like we use guns, you know, but they're not of light. Like the fall. Okay, it's very similar to like the Fallen, right? So like Mithrax and all of the Elixni, they technically now fight for the Traveler. But like if let's say like Savathun, or yeah, let's say like Savathun got a Fallen or like a light subclass, she would get like Arc, and she'd be like, oh, this doesn't look like a thing of the light because that's not what the Fallen use, you know? It's just like that. Remember, darkness, just like light, is a fundamental force in Destiny. It doesn't have an identity that we know of. You know, there are forces like the Witness that I identify with it and use it and utilize it, but it's very much, it seems to be its own thing, right? And so you can't base like what looks like a darkness thing based off of the attacks of our enemies, with the exception of enemies that very explicitly use dark, like Rolk, right? Like Resonance, I would be like flabbergasted if Resonance or something similar to it is not our third darkness subclass. Don't you think extreme subclasses evoke like the Greek Sisters of Fate? Hunter, Clotho the Spinner, Warlock, Lachesis the Weaver, Titan, Atropos the Cutter. Look, I'm gonna be like super honest with you. I had like a major Greek mythology like phase in high school where I was a geek. I don't remember fuck all about those three. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, but that would be really cool if they got inspiration from that. Yo, Paper, what's up, man? So it's just like that. In the reveal stream, they explained the darkness powers have more to do with consciousness compared to the light. And that makes sense though, right? Like, so the light, we have no proof that you can utilize the light without the Traveler. In fact, it seems like if the Traveler's gone, you can't. But with darkness, remember, we started off stasis and we could only use it because we had the shard. And then it turns out we can just use state because the darkness was inside of us all along, you know, like that bullshit. The darkness seems to stem much more from inside. And that's like, there's a lot of lore with Eris and Elsie Bray talking about that in the Collector's Edition. Stasis and darkness power seem to be much more manifested in the self, whereas light is just something like everyone has a little bit of light, but you really seem to only be able to manifest and use it with like a conduit, or you're more of a conduit for things like the Traveler, where that doesn't really seem to be the case for darkness. So there you go. Do you think Strand is the power to move worlds that was presented during Witch Queen? Maybe that's not what you used, but the most direct and pure version of that power? No, I don't think so. Do you think Strand will be a must in the day one raid? As it will be a paywalled raid and subclass, so they sort of match. I mean, Stasis was anything but, you know, a must-have when Beyond Light. I don't think anyone on our team was on Stasis, so I wouldn't read too much into that. It might be good. Who the fuck knows? You know? I mean, it will be good. I think it will be good. I just think for survivability, if you think you're not going to be using, you know, a Bubble Titan and 10 Warlocks, I think you're out of your mind for a day one, personally. So. Here's us learning Strand with Osiris. Very cool. You can see woven armor in the Titan here in the back. You can see him holding a threadling. Sheesh. Oh, man, I clicked off of it. I did not mean to do that. Here's the next one. You can see these guys are suspended. Oh, man, I love the FX on this shit is insane, man. Big marker energy here. That's all I'm saying. Very cool. It's obvious what the campaign will be. We kill Callus, but he isn't truly dead type shit, and the witnesses like the game are over and your destiny is coming to an end. I don't think that's how the campaign ends. I think the campaign ends with someone dying and us. I mean, we know. Look, we know. If you guys have forgotten that someone is dying in this DLC, Bungie like literally gave us a prophecy. Need I remind you? Okay, one second. Vow of the Disciple Prophecy wall. I made a whole video about this. Bungie gave us literally an entire prophecy, guys. We know what's going to happen here. Here's a good thing. The Hive and the Scorn love the darkness. They worship the Witness. The Pyramid Fleet enters Earth and to stop the Guardian. The Witness communes with the Traveler and drinks the lights. Oh my god, we've already fucking seen that! And the Witness kills. I can't believe I didn't even fucking think about this, guys. We've already seen the Witness drinking the light. It was in the trailer. We've already seen that. Oh, not this one. Not this one. Game Awards trailer. Game Awards.
When we think about
Right here, right here, right here. It drinks the light right there. We've already seen this. So we already know what's going to happen in this DLC. The question is who does the Witness kill? I'm telling you, we are going to lose someone very big. Bungie would not have teased it like this if what does the Witness kill the Traveler? Does the Witness kill, I mean, Zavala? Is that why it's not up there? Because there's no symbol for Zavala? I don't think we're gonna die. That'd be kind of a weird thing to happen. Does the Witness kill, Savathun? Or what's gonna happen here? Is the Witness gonna absolutely just kill Earth? Is Earth gone? Is the Traveler destroyed? Are we gonna have to live in fear on Neomuna? What's gonna happen here? Is the Witness gonna kill Tess Everest? We have no idea. So, we already know what's gonna happen. And that's pretty cool. And I made a whole video on this. So, if you're interested in this, go look it up. Very cool. We already know what's gonna happen. So very cool. All around, plot twist, what if the Witness kills Callus? Maybe that'll happen. But if there is destroyed, we can't go to Old Chicago? Good. Oh man. Oh. Very interesting here. I didn't notice this before. We're on Neomuna clearly, but this Vex has a very distinct Vex network platform outside of the Vex network. That is super interesting. Based off of the text on the website for the raid, I think the final boss will either be Nezarec or Shivu. I hope it's an Aphelion. I do not think it. I think there's about a 0% chance it's Shivu or Wrath. I think it is very likely that Shivu is the main campaign boss for Final Shape. Or the Witness is the main campaign boss and Shivu is the raid boss because she's the real big bad of Destiny and I will die on that hill. But pretty excited, man. Here are the screens. Oh man. Oh, so good. Bungie conveniently puts the story in the place of darkness invading and taking away planets for the sole purpose of creating more space for more content. Yes. I mean, it makes sense though, right? Like if they have to do this, I mean, like, dog, you're like 10 years too late for that. That was the whole premise behind Season of the Rivals. They needed to sunset a bunch of shit. Why not make it canonical and make a big event out of it? Of course. You think we'll kill the Witness before Shivu? Elaborate. Look, guys, I'm a sucker for an underdog, and I just think that it would be very interesting and completely subvert expectations if at some point the Witness dies and it's through an act of war or whatever, and Shivu Wrath becomes the most powerful entity and becomes the final shape or whatever. That's all I'm saying. I want that to happen. I don't necessarily think that is going to happen, but I think that Shivu Wrath as the final boss would be a much more compelling story and would subvert our expectations a lot, personally. But it probably won't happen. Okay. Oh my gosh, dude. It's so good. Look at those toes. Oh man, it looks so good, dude. Jesus Christ. How are they so good at their fucking job, man? I don't understand how Bungie does it. How do they consistently do it, man? All right, and then we have the PR kit. Today, Bungie released a new trailer showcasing Strand, the next Darkness subclass being introduced in Destiny 2 Lightfall. The trailer highlights Guardians using their Strand ability. They're in the neon city of Neomuno. Hey, let's watch it again. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Strand flows through you. As it flows.
Oh, there was the SMG. I just now noticed. Look how fast that Titan's going, dude.
Now is the time to lean into using Strand. Not back away from it.
Some Tobey Maguire Spider-Man bullshit going on there. Let's go. Oh, I did it. I've watched this trailer 4 times and I just realized the hunter gets his melee back, dog. Look right here. The hunter's gonna throw his dart, he's gonna shoot an enemy, and then he's gonna get his dart back. Watch this shit. Right here, he's gonna throw it. Oh, after this. The hunter's gonna land, throw the dart, boom, catch it. Oh, shit, dude, fuck. That looks so good. I don't think Osiris dies. I think Osiris becomes a Strand master. Oh! Oh, god damn, dude. I am so Strand pilled right now. Holy! You know what I'm saying? Osiris, so look, we have this discussion every time, guys. Characters, I don't know what sort of like voice modulation or post-production stuff they do, but characters in Destiny will always sound different in cutscenes versus what they sound like in game. And so anytime you're like, whoa, does Osiris sound a little different there? He did not get recast, more than likely. He's in a different context, so they gave him a different voice thing. The same thing happened to Elsie with this season. Sound a little bit different. She just changed her accent a little bit. She lost the British accent, and she always sounds different in cutscenes. That's always how it goes. This is like the 4th time this has happened. So, yes. Very good. We already read these, but we'll read them again. Warlock has the Broodweaver subclass with the Super Needle Storm floating into the air. Warlocks conjure a wave of piercing Strand missiles. After the missiles strike their enemies, they detonate and reweave themselves into threadlings that chase after nearby targets. Titan Berserker has a Blade Fury. Titans weave large blades onto their arm while they roam the battlefield using light and heavy attacks. Light attacks allow the Titans to quickly slash enemies and build energy for their heavy attack, in which they swing their blades to launch projectiles that suspend and incapacitate enemies on impact. And the Hunter Threadrunner has Silk Strike. Hunters weave a rope dart to strike down their enemies. The light attack throws the dart forward to strike a single enemy. Hitting an enemy with the tip of the dart deals bonus damage, and defeating enemies in this manner causes them to explode. A heavy attack swings the rope dart around a large area, damaging all nearby enemies. With Strand, each class has access to the new grapple ability, which will give players the power to swing around New Muna and take on the Shadow Legion. Destiny 2 Lightfall launches February 28th. And very low res inside the network. Very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to find these 2 interviews. Very cool, man. Very cool. Hot take. Bungie's lost the ability to make the dark story. Everything is so upbeat now. There's no risk anymore. Even Lightfall is bright, which is supposed to be dark. I've been saying this, guys. I've been saying this. And I'm going to continue to say this, okay? All of the marketing for Lightfall is a complete misdirect. If you remember the original marketing for Lightfall, it was very dark. Black screen, Traveler, Pyramid Ship. Very, very dark. And then all of a sudden they hit us with, boom, Neo Wave, like crazy, bright, happy stuff. It is a misdirect. We've talked about the prophecy in Vow of the Disciple and how that has we already know this is going to be it's going to have a very dark outcome in this DLC. We know this is going to be a dark DLC. Everything is a misdirect. It's just like how in Forsaken, it was like, oh, yeehaw, I'm a cowboy. And then boom, actually, it's like an infinite time loop, like horror story, dragon fighting knight thing in a goddamn secret city, you know? Complete misdirect. You're falling for it. We're going to be on Neo Muna for a little bit, but I guarantee this is going to be a super dark DLC, and we're going to go into it, and it's going to be super dark, guys. It's going to be super dark. Super dark. Maybe they push those themes to the final shape. No. I'm telling you, this is our Infinity War. Final shape will be our end game. We start off super confident in this DLC, just like Infinity War, and then we lose. We lose so badly, and we have to spend an entire year recuperating. And then final shape is going to be our end game, where everything looks super dark, and at the end, we're able to rally together, and we're going to be able to finally beat the darkness or the witness. I'm telling you, we're gonna lose so badly in this DLC. It's not even funny. We're gonna die. Okay? Very dark. I'm telling you guys are buying into it. We are going to get so dead. So very dead. It's gonna happen, man. Strand interview. So here's one. Okay, 2 interviews. 3 interviews. This one's in Japanese, but I have a translator, so maybe it'll work. Okay. So we have 3 interviews here that we can read. Sorry for light mode. Here, let me, let's actually see the, so this is Games Radar. This is a light. And then this is probably PC Gamer. Yep. Okay, this is light. And then this one is a Japanese site that is also light. Okay, so let me put on Dark Reader. Oh, much better. I don't know why websites don't just automatically have a dark mode. It's kind of toxic. Okay, if you guys don't have Dark Docs or Dark Reader, it's an add-on for Firefox, probably for Google Chrome as well. Oh my god, it is a fucking a lifesaver. It's so good. All right, here we go. Interview number 1. Destiny 2 Lightfall Strand subclasses promise a higher skill ceiling for actions per minute fiends. Oh, call me an action per minute fiend, baby. Woo! Woo! This is gonna be great. Okay. Big Strand preview. Endgame, build crafting, and Doom Eternal? I've been on board with the Strand subclasses coming in Destiny 2 Lightfall from the moment Bungie confirmed that they have a grappling hook. I'm a simple gamer. If there's a grappling hook, I am grappling. Oh, this is written by Austin Wood at Games Radar. At the same time, I've also been unsure of how much I'll actually use Strand in the game's hardest content. Flying around like Space Spider-Man sounds fun, but Destiny 2's Master and Grandmaster content has taught me that getting close to enemies and staying out of cover, key elements of Strand's mobile and aggressive playstyle, is a reliable way to die. Kind of true, actually. This guy sounds like he might know what he's talking about. Very little, but he might. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know this guy. But it sounds like he's at least done a Grandmaster we did say Grandmaster content. There's only Grandmaster like Nightfalls. So, but we'll keep going. Nice ad. Can I not have ads? I feel like if I click that, it's gonna actually open the ad. See how that looks like a fake X right there? I don't really trust that. Will my fancy new grappling hook just be a toy I break out for fun and easy activities? After bouncing some questions off of design lead Kevin Yanes, once again, thank you, Kevin, for welcome back. I'm sorry people were assholes to you. You're beautiful, and thank you for answering more questions. You're awesome, dude. This is sick. Hey man, I'm a bit late to stream. I just want to say thank you for the content you put out in the community you've built. My grandpa fell and broke his neck. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, dude. So everything's been tough right now. Dude, I'm so sorry. Fuck, man. Well, you know, if you need to vent or anything, please feel free to. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Hopefully we can, you know, do our best to take your mind off of it and make your day a little bit better. What did people do to Yanes? He essentially got like super bullied off of Twitter, just because people were mean. He said something. He said that Twilight Garrison wasn't coming back, and people bullied him off of Twitter. And then he had a really awesome comeback when Arc 3.0 launched and Titan had the dodgy boy, and he was just like. He essentially was like, you guys are fucking idiots. Where he's like, I was working on this the whole time. No, he didn't exactly say it. He said it in a much nicer way, but he definitely had his moment, which is very nice. Okay. At a recent press event, I want to be invited to press events. I'm not positive it won't be impractical or risky in the hardest activities, but I still need to see Strand in the wild. But after learning more about the subclass and its capabilities, I'm looking at it with renewed interest. My ears first perked up with talk of Strand's higher skill ceiling, rewarding more actions per minute. The part of my brain dedicated entirely to gushing about Doom Eternal has also latched onto the fast-paced combos at the heart of Strand's core power fantasy, from chaining kills while managing resources to bouncing between enemies with truly 3D movements. Playing with Strand sounds strikingly similar to Doomslayer's latest adventure, and I did not expect that coming in. I feared Strand would end up being a green grappling hook with some cool bells and whistles, but has the potential to absolutely rip and tear. Yes, that's what I love to hear. How Strand? Can you cut it out with ads? Like Stasis and the 3.0 subclasses, Strand has a few verbs or keywords that shape its style. As Smith and Yanes explained, as Bungie summarized in a new blog post, there are several keywords for Strand. You can create objects and summons by weaving Strand together, and this includes unraveling Strand affected enemies into tangles that you can shoot, throw, or use as fuel for abilities. By applying Strand, you can suspend enemies and keep them aloft and incapacitate them, though you can still wiggle and hip fire. There you go. When suspended in PvP, or unravel them for area of effect damage that sounds similar to Arc 3.0's Jolt effect. Strand's central grappling hook is assigned to your grenade slot and also ties into these interactions. At its most basic, you can weave a hook to grapple onto, letting you move through the air even if there are no surfaces nearby. You can also grapple onto a woven tangle to fully recharge your grenade. I reckon this interaction will be important for regularly grappling out of danger and on the offensive, swinging right into enemies to set up powerful grapple melee attacks. Fantastic. Okay, but like now, can we have an exotic like super shotgun with the grapple? Dude, oh, that's such a good idea. That is such a good idea. Are you going to get early access? No, they don't really do that anymore. That's not really, Bungie hasn't really done that in, very many years. I've saved possibly the most important keywords for last. Strand can sever enemies to reduce the damage they deal, and he can also grant you woven mail armor that reduces the damage you take, though incoming headshot and melee damage is affected in PvP. Strand has a lot of crowd control in its toolbox, but more than anything, I'm betting on Sever and Woven Mail to make it viable in Destiny 2's hardest content, because I think we're going to need them to damage reduction, and yeah. I asked why I would bring Strand to endgame activities over existing subclasses, and Smith argued that Strand does a number of things better than any other subclass. The grapple ability specifically provides players with more movement freedom than they've ever had before, and the core gameplay of a loop of Strand is very dynamic. When using a Strand subclass, any Strand debuffed enemy that you defeat is going to turn into a tangle when you kill them. So a tangle is this kind of swirling bundle of strands, and you can grapple to it, snatch it out of the air, throw it at someone else, and still have a grapple ready to go. So I think that sort of thing lends itself to higher action per minute gameplay that you're going to see with Strand. In response to another question, Smith adds that the Strand gameplay loop of creating tangles can lead to higher actions per minute than the other subclasses, and that there's potentially a higher skill ceiling that rewards players who think on their feet. It sounds crucial to use tangles and debuffs to react to enemies as they approach, and this smacks of Doom Eternal's flow state to me. Kill an enemy in a specific way to generate resources that either keep you alive or empower you to kill other enemies. This thinking isn't new to Destiny 2, but the way that Strand goes about it could put it in another league of combo potential. That's exactly what I've been saying. This is awesome. This is fantastic. Yanis also said that the power of Strand can scale with how quickly you react and play. It rewards the player for having a higher APM. We've already said that. There are combinations that you can have, like debuffing a target with a melee, killing them and turning them into a tangle, throwing that tangle, grappling onto that tangle. That tangle detonates and you follow up with a grapple punch, which, depending on your class, might spawn threadlings or might unravel them and create new projectiles that then feed into your loop. I remember my first couple of PvP playtests, and I personally was giggling because I'm like, oh my god, the interaction matrix is massive here. And when you string all these commands together, you feel this rush of dopamine that I don't think any of our other subclasses have without considerable mastery. And the neat thing about Strand is we really have ended up with something that we believe is pretty easy to get into, but has a considerable amount of depth that, for you to master in just the raw action game, let alone the build crafting game. This is exactly what I've been saying. This is awesome. Sprinting and flying around is surprisingly useful when staying alive, and Strand lets you be offensive while doing that. Yes, I think Strand is going to be incredible, man. Like I said, I've been fully Strand build. Build crafting side of Strand raises the questions of how each class will put its own spin on this new power. All Strand classes will launch with 2 aspects, but thankfully Bungie insists that unlocking these Strand abilities won't be as time consuming as Stasis was. Good. The Warlock Broodweaver uses their abilities here. Sorry, I kind of want to skip through a lot of the stuff we've already read. This class sounds incredibly, so we're talking about the Titan Berserker. This class sounds incredibly powerful on paper, but it's actually been a bit divisive, largely due to the comparisons between its Super, Blade Fury, and Titan's Stasis and Arc Supers. I put the question to Yanis, who says Bungie's aware of the feedback about Titan abilities looking overly similar, but he maintains that the Berserker is a whole new beast. So we'll see. Blade Fury is much more about giving you the survivability tools to really lay into those guys, and then giving you a range option, which is not something you generally do with these roaming supers, to suspend things from afar and damage them. That's their heavy attack. That double blade uppercut you see them do in the trailer, I think that's 2 of the core ways we've tried to shift them away. But yeah, Titan mains, we love you, we do, but remember that we're trying to reinforce your core fantasy, and at some point, your guys holding the fist on the cover of the game. True. But still, would love to see a little bit more variation, but I'm very excited to see how it plays out. You will see that power fantasy get expanded on as we grow them over the years. You know, obviously there's nothing to talk about today, but when we think of the Berserker, we're not thinking of them just as close-range brawler. We're thinking about the wild, untamable force that is within these guys, within this guy who wants to resolve this encounter through the most violent methods possible. Holy shit. Okay, so we know these 4 things. Guardians who were here for the launch of Beyond Light will no doubt remember how Stasis ran roughshod, I've never heard that word, over everything else in PvP for months, a meta that Yanis jokingly calls his original sin. With our second Darkness subclass about to arrive, I can't blame people for worrying about game balance. However, Yanis says Stasis taught the team a lot about how to introduce this kind of power, giving them a stronger foothold for balancing Strand to keep it from breaking the game while still adding something meaningful to the sandbox. This is why Suspend isn't a hard stun in PvP, for example, and why Woven Mail has a built-in PvP counter in the form of headshots. Good. So Stasis was our first new damage type, right? Yanis says. A lot of the team did not have the experience there. We hadn't done it in years upon years, so when we went to build that, we didn't want it to feel like just another color. We didn't want to feel like just another way to kill things. We wanted to find this new mechanical identity and this new role for it to sit in that would expand the sandbox and give us a bunch of room to play in, but also that would make it feel novel and unique, and that was through crowd control. Okay. The question that kept happening throughout development was, is this going to be useful? Is this going to be awesome? Why would I ever use this over vaporizing everything? And so that led us to push it further and further and further. And you have playtest and you have iteration time, but within the first hour of the game's launch, people have dwarfed your quality assurance time by orders of magnitude. So we shipped Stasis with 4.5-second freeze, and we're not doing that with Strand. We've learned a bunch of those lessons, and we spent a year iterating on it on Stasis post-launch, and we know how crowd control fits in the game. Good. I'm glad to hear that they are a little bit more confident about how this is going to launch. That is a very good thing, and hopefully it's not as, crazy and Crucible. And the neat thing is with the way we've architected this before, the behavior for a player is completely separate from the behavior for an AI. They're still the same performance, and it's still the same mechanical identity, but the Cabal aren't going to go on Reddit and complain about how busted Suspend is, so we can then crank up the timer by a bit. That's awesome. Yo, Jason, what's up, man? Hey, congrats on math class. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We don't have to have them be able to fight back, so we can make that entirely in the player's favor there. We have this critical eye this time in making sure that when we release Strand, it might still be powerful, and it even might still be the flavor of the release, but we're hoping it's not going to be overwhelmingly so. We're hoping that because it's cool and new and everyone wants to use it, and that's why you're going to see a lot, not because it's a no-brainer. Yonde says, I feel good about the design space we have. I hope we proved that with the 3.0 subclasses that even with the defined colors of Arc, Solar, and Void, we can bring newness to them. Maybe it's naivety, but the abilities team doesn't like to give up or think we're at the end of a systematic road that we're on. I think we believe pretty heavily that there's a considerable amount of design space available for us to consume and discover more of. What design space would be around for new fantasy colors? It's a hard question to answer because if you would have asked me this after Stasis, I wouldn't have been able to even remotely put myself in the mindset of what Strand could be. Should we sit down and think about a new power? I have all the confidence in the world that the team we've assembled can pull that off. For every ability idea that we execute on, we leave a ton of others on the cutting room floor, Smith agrees. There are new emotional fantasies, new mechanics that aren't necessarily causing and preventing damage. There's all sorts of things that we'd love to explore in the future. I think grapple is a great example of this. Grappling hooks are awesome and people love using them. We didn't ever want to shoehorn it into Destiny 2, but because of the emotional fantasy we created with Strand revolving around rope and string, it was the perfect time to make that happen. I think there's a lot of other stuff looking out there that we've been waiting for the perfect time to put in the game. That's really exciting. Yo, William, thank you for the 23 months. Love your face. Bro, Strand looks nuts. I agree. Strand looks freaking insane. Okay, so that was that one. Very cool. This is Tim Clark of PC Gamer. It was going to transform into a giant spider that launched eggs and had babies running around. Bungie's devs discussed Destiny 2's next subclass. So this is Kevin Johannesson, Eric Smith again. Right off the rip, let's deal with one of the biggest worries when it comes to Strand. How long will the subclass take to unlock across all three characters? Acquiring all the aspects and fragments for Stasis and Beyond Light was notoriously grindy, but Bungie promises it won't be the case with Strand. We learned a lot from the Born in Darkness quest, says Yanes. The friction there was way too high, especially for newer players who were coming in and just wanted to see the new stuff. Unlocking Strand will require players to complete the Lightfall campaign, but Bungie seems to have heard the complaints and wants to make the process much more user-friendly. At campaign completion, we're actually going to have a fairly representative subclass unlock Stasis, which was a skeleton of subclass. Cool. You can expect more aspects and fragments to be released as part of the seasonal model over the course of 2023. There we go. By the end of the year, you're going to have a complete subclass kit that will be able to stand toe-to-toe with your existing suite of powers and speak to a playstyle you currently don't have. My takeaway is that although it does sound like you'll need to play the campaign on each character to complete Strand, you're going to have more freedom to choose what you unlock, and it should feel less laborious. Certainly, I don't expect it to be the equivalent of slipping around the map shooting crystals with Salvation's Grip. True. Yeah, okay. We've already read that one. Let's talk about tangles. Whenever an enemy that's affected by any sort of Strand debuff dies, it will unravel into a swirling volatile bundle of Strand that's called a tangle. Grappling hooks makes every game better. Yes, it does. You can pick a tangle up and throw it as a bomb or shoot it where it lies. You can also grapple to a tangle without spending your ability charge. As you'd expect from Destiny, various subclass aspects and pieces of exotic gear will generate or interact with tangles. For example, the Quicksilver Storm exotic rifle creates tangles on kills in the grenade launcher mode, provided you have its exotic catalyst. Smith thinks tangles are the key to the high action per minute experience. You'll see these things pop up and you'll use your instinct to alter the way you approach the encounter. We wanted to give Strand this high action per minute skill ceiling where if I can train all these things together in a dynamic way, I'm going to really maximize my effectiveness. Tangles came from our desire to take Warmind cells, grab part of that loop, and bring it into the core gameplay. We knew Warmind cells were going away. They were never really intended to live forever, and so the question became, what's a class-based version of Warmind cells that's cohesive, married to the damage type, and has a new set of interactions? There you go. So we called it. That's awesome. I'm confused with the wording. Are they saying that we're going to unlock it after the campaign? Or are they saying we'll have it unlocked? So it'll probably be like part way through the campaign, we get the subclass, and then, you know, every class has 2 fragments. So I bet like 1/3 of the way in, you get the subclass. 2/3 of the way in, you get the first fragment, and then, aspect, the class specific one. And then when you complete the campaign, you get the second one. I bet it'll be something like that. Yo, Rubius, what's up? How you doing? Strand is the first subclass to grant 3 melee charges. Historically, we tend not to give players 3 melee charges by default, but with the Strand Titan and Warlock, we gave them 3. The Titan's melee sends you forward a considerable difference, and you're able to close a gap pretty easily by chaining 3 melees together. The speed at which you can move is that because of that is very high. Told you, and that's going to be very crazy. Mobility and aerial play will be core to all the Strand subclasses, but Hunters will be the one permanently up in the rafters. So Bungie expects Hunters to create their own grappling area. Not only does Widow's Silk create these grappling points, so Hunter has this aspect called Widow's Silk that creates a grapple tangle at the point of impact. Not only does Widow's Silk create these grapple tangles, but also gives me 2 grapple charges. So I can grapple once to create this point, and then if I grapple to that point again using my second charge, or a teammate grapples to it, it won't cost any grapple energy. If we create a chain of grapple tangles, we can all grapple for free and cover a huge distance. That's insane. Dude, I'm doing very well. I can't believe they're putting the smart pistol from Titanfall 2 into Titanfall into Destiny 2. Dude, they seem to be getting very creative with a lot of this stuff. I'm so excited for it. I think Strand's going to be a banger, man. I feel better about Strand than I did about Stasis when it was launched, for sure. Grapple tangles also negate the 5-second lockout that otherwise prevents Hunters from using both charges back to back. That's why there's a lockout at all. Yanis explains the team's philosophy regarding movement abilities. We really like the impressive movement, Icarus Dash, Shiver Strike, Cryoclasm Thruster, but one of the things we pay attention to is what the uptime of that movement looks like. Grapple is super expressive, and we absolutely want you to have the ability to displace yourself, but you've got to make sure you're managing your ability energy economy. Fair enough. It's good to see subclasses look insane, especially the Titan. Yes. What's up, Marching? All of this looks really good. He says that by chaining grapple tangles, his team has been able to get halfway across the King's Fall ship section. A carefully set up team could probably do some nonsensical things and end your frustration with some of the jumping puzzles. Yeah, if you can Strand skate, you're done. You'll cross it. I'm very excited about that. Okay. I want to see if there's anything else here that we haven't already read. A critical understanding of how grappling works in Destiny 2 is that you don't need to attach your rope to a surface. It's very versatile, very easy to use. When I decide I want to use a grapple, all I have to do is point in the direction and hit the button. If the grapple can't reach a surface, it's going to anchor to a point in space and pull me that direction. I don't have to determine whether I'm in range of a surface to attach to. It's always just going to work, okay? Good stuff. I hope they lied. It's more broken than Stasis. It won't be. I'm doing well, Steven. How are you doing? We already read the PvP thing and the other one. Roaming supers are going to get a buff. Supers in Destiny generally fall into 2 camps: massive burst damage or running around hitting stuff. There are notable exceptions like Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn. Having seen some disappointment in the Titan Strand super is a roaming variant, I want to know whether it's going to be harder to find new design space for supers. Yane says a lot of our supers right now are melt dudes in fantastic fashion, and there's a total validity to that apex power expression. But one of the things we try to do, especially in the darkness subclasses, is find a different avenue. This is fine. They confirm there is not a nerf to Well of Radiance coming. Warlock Broodweaver Super was originally going to turn you into an actual goddamn spider. Here's a wild one. Normally asking the question, what kind of crazy stuff did you cut, results in terrible answers because no dev wants to talk about something cool that didn't make the game. Except for Bungie, apparently. The Warlock Broodweaver Super was originally going to transform you into a giant spider that launched spider eggs and had spider babies running around instead of threadlings. Okay, sounds amazing. Can we have that, please? Apparently not, because trying to transform the Warlock's bipedal model into an 8-legged creature required so much work that ended up being out of the scope. Also, arachnophobia is a real thing. That's amazing. Giannis has his own story to share. One of my favorite prototypes was an early Warlock Super where you could spawn these aerial threadlings and they were just screebs that were T-posing and they would slowly go towards the enemy and then shoot threadling eggs. So you had these T-posing screebs vomiting threadlings. It was hilarious but also horrifying. That's amazing, dude. Oh my goodness. This is awesome. Yeah, we already know that. Stasis would once upon a time time crystals. Let's end on a fun one, discussing how much the subclasses have changed during the creative iteration process. Giannis has this to share. Stasis was originally going to be time crystals, but it wasn't going to be cosmic ice. But we didn't want to do the generic fantasy of It's Frost Burr. We always wanted there to be a Destiny interpretation of the power, something that is uniquely our game. So how did... They're not even going to expand on that. What do you mean by time crystals? They don't talk about it at all. What does time crystal mean? What the frick? You can't just say something like that and not expand on it. But it's pretty much everything we already knew. So that was a good one. And this one's in Japanese. I've got a translator, so... Bungie details things about Strand, dark new subclasses bringing unprecedented mobility. Sorry, this is a Japanese, you know, it's been translated, so some of this is kind of rough. We already read a lot of this. Originally, we already know all this, we already know about this. As an aside, there's a technical that, I don't know what that means, that people use by combining enthusiasm, eager edge, and skills to blow, so he's talking about eager edge skating, so that you can well skate or shatter skate here. That's what they're saying. They asked if you can grapple on to an eager edge skater, and when I asked, the answer is yes. So there you go. It looks like you can grapple onto people who well skate, which is cool. Is there anything else here? This seems to be just mostly a recap. Yeah, it's just pretty much just a recap of the other thing. Yeah, it is. Okay. So there we go. All around, this looks absolutely incredible. I'm very ready for it. I think there's a high probability that Strand is going to be my favorite type of subclass. I just hope it plays as well as it reads and as it looks. So I'm very excited for this. Please let me Strand skate. That would be amazing. We'll see. And yeah. All right, everyone. So very awesome stuff. I'm sure we'll have a huge TWAB this week too, which I'm pretty excited about. Probably get a lot more information about stuff coming with Lightfall. And yeah. So good stuff. All right, everyone. That's where I'm going to end the stream. Very excited. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for learning about Strand with me. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am. So I'll see you guys very soon. Have a fantastic night. I love your faces. And yeah, catch you guys next time. Peace out, everyone. See you guys.